Dear devotees, thank you so much for joining in. Om Ajnanatirmirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurum Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Caitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rūpa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Śrīmate Bhaktivedanta Swāmīniti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Deshatarine He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानं पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So, Nectar of Instruction, this particular book is a very wonderful book. And this book, in fact, Prabhupada, if you see the date that is completed, Prabhupada completed it on 20th September 1975, which actually falls his own sannyas day also, the day he took sannyas as such. So it's like, and that is why it's called Vishwarupa Mahotsava. That day was like, the whole festival was there. You can say that this date is actually like a birthday party for Nectar of Instruction. Vishwarup Mahotsav. So, somebody can on that day read the whole entire book or sing songs, or, we can feel that this Nectar of Instruction is like a perfect Parivajaka Charya Sannyas scripture, because you can carry this book. It's such a portable book, you can carry it anywhere you want. And this preface is actually setting the whole mood for the book, that how we can use each instruction from the book, and we can progressively learn and study, and we can imbibe it into our lives. So if you see the preface, we'll just read the preface. The Krishna conscious movement is conducted under the supervision of Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī. Very important, please mark this. The Gauḍīya Vaiṣṇavas or Bengali Vaiṣṇavas are mostly followers of Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu, of whom the Six Gosvāmīs of Vṛndāvana are direct disciples. Therefore, Śrīla Narottama Ṭhākura has sung rūpa-raghunātha-pade, ha-ibe ākuti, kabe hāma bujhaba se yugala-pīriti. When I am eager to understand the literature given by the Gosvāmīs, then I shall be able to understand the transcendental loving affairs of Rādhā and Kṛṣṇa. Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu appeared in order to bestow upon human society the benediction of the science of Krishna. The most exalted of all the activities of Lord Kṛṣṇa are his pastimes of conjugal love with the gopis. Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu appeared in the mood of Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī, the best of the gopis. And therefore, to understand the mission of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and follow in his footsteps, one must very seriously follow in the footsteps of the Six Gosvāmīs. Mark this, very important. Śrīla Rūpa Sanatan, Bhaṭṭa Raghunātha, Śrī Jīva, Gopala Bhatt and Dāsa Raghunātha. These are the Six Gosvāmīs. Śrī Rūpa Gosvāmī was the leader of all the Gosvāmīs, and to guide our activities, he gave us Updeshamrit to follow. As Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu left behind him the 8 verses known as Shishtashtaka, Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī gave us Updeshamrit so that we may become pure Vaishnavas. In all spiritual affairs, one's duty is to control his mind and senses. Unless one controls his mind and senses, one cannot make any advancement. Just give me 1 minute, okay. In spiritual life, everyone within this material world is engrossed in the modes of passion and ignorance. One must promote himself to the platform of goodness, Sattva Guna, by following the instruction of Rupa Gosvāmī. And then everything concerning how to make further progress will be revealed. So first, we need to come to the level of Sattva-guna. Once you come to Sattva-guna, then everything will be revealed. In passion and ignorance, you cannot understand or appreciate Krishna. Now, another important a very, very important sentence in this preface. And I can give a whole class on this whole sentence. Advancement in Krishna consciousness depends on the attitude of the follower. Very important. That what is my attitude? What have I come here for? Have I come here to serve or to control? Have I come over here to surrender or to master? Right? A follower of the Krishna conscious movement should become a perfect Goswami. Vaishnavas are generally known as Goswamis. In Vrindavan, this is the title by which the director of each temple is known. One who wants to become a perfect devotee of Krishna must become a Goswami. See, when he's taken, he did not say can become. He says must become, which means what it is compulsory, mandatory. Go means the senses and Swami means the master. Unless one controls his senses and mind, one cannot become a Goswami. To achieve the highest success in life by becoming a Goswami and then a pure devotee of the Lord, one must follow the instructions known as Updeshamrit. So what is the objective of this book? To achieve the highest success in life by becoming a Goswami and then a pure devotee of the Lord, one must follow the instructions known as Updeshamrit given by Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī. Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī has given many other books such as Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, Vigada Madhav, Lalita Madhav, but Updeshamrit constitutes the first instructions for neophyte devotees. One should follow these instructions very strictly, then it will be easier to make one's life successful. Hare Krishna. So see, there are 3 to 4 points in this. Actually, I think 4 points are there. One is to preach Krishna consciousness, right? So if I want to preach Krishna consciousness, then what I need to do is, I need to follow the instructions of the 6 Goswamis. So, how will I do that? Even to follow the instructions of the Goswamis, I need to actually control my mind and senses. And controlling the mind and senses, who is instructing us? Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī is only instructed. So what is the goal of this NOI book? What Updeshamrit, iska upadesh kya hai, right? So we want to study so that we want to become pure Vaishnavas, pure devotee of the Lord, right? We want to become pure Vaishnavas and we want to help Mahaprabhu in teaching this world the science of Krishna consciousness. But how will I do that? Then I must very seriously follow in the footsteps of the 6 Goswamis in disciplic succession by controlling my mind and senses as it is instructed by the Goswami, Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī himself only. So when now Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī, when he's saying that, the very first sentence he's saying that this Krishna conscious movement is conducted under the supervision of Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī. So these, because somebody might just, think that, okay, this Krishna conscious movement का credentials क्या है? What is his spiritual credentials? Is this movement new? No, it is conducted under the supervision of Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī. And Prabhupada is very humble over here in giving this whole credit of this whole, the credit of this whole movement to Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī. Because if you see, once, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came out of his ecstatic mood, after dancing during one of the kirtans at the Puri beach, so he called out the devotees and he actually gathered them. And he said that he would explain the essence of Krishna Bhavana Bhavit, Krishna consciousness. And then he actually explained this Updeshamrit. So, Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī's handwriting, if you see, because Rūpa Gosvāmī has written, and we have heard many times in lectures that how did these Gosvāmīs write also these literatures? They wrote on bark, wood barks, wooden leaves, and they used to dry. So, for example, I have a very big leaf, okay, and I start writing. Now, when I start writing, if I turn the page, because till this page will not dry, I cannot write on the back side. So now I need to actually keep this, leaf on one side, take another fresh leaf, and now what I was supposed to write on this back side, I will continue, means now he exactly knew what I'll be writing on the back side till this front side dries. And he will continue from what he has to write on the next leaf, right? And then he will come back on the old leaf after the first, the first face has dried. Now that expert were our Goswamis, that they exactly knew where will I end on this leaf, which is the last word with which I will end. And he will continue from that word on the next fresh leaf till that first leaf does not dry. Now, and Śrīla Rūpa Goswami's handwriting were like exactly rose petals, He wrote these prayers and, he used to, stick the palm leaf on the roof. And one day he went for a bath and then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw that. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was wondering that how did he understand my mind? And how he has become so intimate that he understood the core of my heart. So then Sarup Damodar Goswami actually says that because you have bestowed your mercy upon him at Prayag, if you know, no? Dasheshwamekh Ghat pe that time he had, that is why he has understood. So see, one thing when I was actually hearing, once this sentence, that when you hear with rapt attention from the spiritual master, the spiritual master knows that you are rapt in attention while, hearing his class or any other class, because the spiritual master is tattva. So when you are rapt in attention, then he knows that this jiva is very serious. And when you are serious, then the spiritual master bestows his mercy upon us. And those scriptures, which are very difficult to understand or very difficult to even digest, they are automatically revealed. On their own accord, they start. These words, they start actually, manifesting. These words start speaking to you from the Shastras. So, and imagine Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī got his daily, he used to get this mercy, daily. Now, why? Because he was wrapped in attention. He was very humble while hearing, Tadvidi Pranipatena Pariprashnena Sevaya. And even, why did Prabhupada also go to USA? Because Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī came in his dream and told him that you should go. Of course, Prabhupada, though he has written over here rūpa-raghunātha-pade as such, but Rupa Goswami said that you need to go and preach. That is the instruction of your spiritual master. So when we say, the lotus feet of the spiritual master, morning, Guru Vandana, we are singing, Shri Guru Charane Rati Aise O Tamagati. When we say that the lotus feet of the devotees are manifesting through their instructions. To catch the lotus feet of the spiritual master means only to hold on to his instructions and follow it. So, the goal of study is we try to actually imbibe it into our own lives also, and we try to teach it also. That is why Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu also, he appeared in order to bestow upon this whole human society the benediction of, the science of Krishna consciousness. So to understand Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu's mission and follow in his footsteps means only to reach that goal. See, when he's saying over here, in the last line, to achieve the highest success or the goal, okay, means to very much seriously follow in the instructions or follow in the footsteps of the six Gosvāmīs. And Srila Prabhupada is glorifying Updeshamrit by putting it on the same level as Shishtastakam. Same level. So that, and to guide even our activities, he is giving us this Updeshamrit to follow. Because, again, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is leaving 8 verses behind. The goal is actually, again, to study as mentioned. And Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī also is giving us Updeshamrit so that we may become pure Vaishnavas. Now, when you are going to memorize, these shlokas, there are first 4 shlokas. So, when you're memorizing, the first shloka that is there, and that is why Prabhupada has discussed in the very preface only the first shloka, to control the senses. And so see, when we say that in those days, when in Prabhupada's time, when he went to USA, so this NOI book was the first book they would introduce in KC for making a devotee. And because even Chaitanya Charan Prabhu also says that how do we know the science of Krishna consciousness? How do we know that this science is working also? The science of Krishna consciousness is working also. So he says that by looking at the lives of the great devotees. So, and who are these great devotees? He's saying over here, the gopis and the manjaris are there, right? The highest is, where is it over here? The gopis and the manjaris, the most exalted devotees. We are seeing them taking shelter, and the Goswamis were no less than the manjaris. They were the manjaris itself only. So now, because the most exalted of all, the devotees, the gopis and the manjaris and Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself appeared, right? So they know the science of Krishna consciousness. The Goswamis know the science of Krishna consciousness, and that is why they can guide us about the science of Krishna. See, we cannot become pure devotees on our own efforts. We cannot become pure devotees just by, reading some books. We can become a pure devotee only when we are guided by another pure devotee. Like, for example, if I want to become a doctor, I need to take the guidance of an experienced doctor. I need to be trained. If I want to become a good surgeon, then I need to be trained under that particular surgeon, and he is only going to guide me with his realization and experience. So this NOD, sorry, this NOI is actually a complete, uh, you know, uh, can say that science of Bhakti Yoga, how you can become a very pure devotee. And Prabhupada is also mentioning about Lalit Madhav, Vigad Madhav. They are actually uh, the demonstrations of that science, you can say. That how the gopis are behaving, how the gopis are interacting with Krishna. So that is why, if you see, Prabhupada is introducing this NOI, this is Updeshamrit, and he's saying that everyone's first duty. Now, why is he saying that? It is important to, in all spiritual affairs, one's first duty is to control his mind and senses. Because if you see the Bhagavad Gita, the 10th chapter, give me 1 minute, okay? See, if you see the 10th chapter, okay? Tesham satata-yuktānām bhajatam prīti-pūrvakam dadāmi buddhi-yogam tam yena ma upayanti te. Now, if you see that, is it 10.10? Yeah, correct. Bhajata prīti-pūrvakam. Correct. This is another one. Yeah. So those who are constantly devoted to serving me with love, I give them that understanding via which they can come to me. What is Krishna saying is that one must promote to the platform of Sattva Guna by following the instructions. See, when you follow over here, what is he saying that? Because, in this material world, everybody is, what do you say, gripped into passion and ignorance. But till the time we do not come out from this passion and ignorance and reach to the sattva level, we won't be able to understand, we won't be able to progress also. So that is why he's saying that till the time a person does not come to the sattva guna level, he won't understand or he won't appreciate and understand both, in fact. He won't appreciate and understand the science of Krishna consciousness. He won't be able to surrender. To understand God, the right now basic requirement that we have, that we come on the Sattva platform, at least, right? And when Krishna is saying over here that, Tesham Satatayuktanam Bhajatam Priti Purvakam. Now, because when he's saying Bhajatam Priti Purvakam means only what? That the element of bhakti is involved, right? And affection is there. Priti Purvakam, very affectionately, not very relentlessly, right? Relentless means what? That you actually pull yourself behind. You're not fully giving, or you can say not even grudgingly. So, if we are doing bhakti resentfully, then we prevent Krishna from giving us what he actually wanted to give us. So when you come to the platform of Satoguna, you will very liberally give yourself to Krishna. You will completely surrender yourself to Krishna. And that is why when this person is completely surrendering to Krishna, dadami buddhi yogam, then Krishna is saying, I will give them that buddhi yoga, yenama, via which he will come back to me. So, if you see, when he's saying that buddhi and yoga, So buddhi yoga is like a compound word, So buddhi and yoga. So when he's using his buddhi to connect to the Supreme Lord, then from there Krishna is giving his reciprocation as such. So that is why he's saying that over here that and it is advancement also from ignorance to passion to mode of goodness. You are advancing slowly. It's like exactly like a plane is coming to a runway. A runway is like the mode of goodness, and then we have this body. We have to launch it to Goloka, right? So this mode of goodness is like a can say you can launch pad for going back home, back to Godhead, to Goloka. And that is why this goodness has to be cultivated. So he's saying over here, advancement in Krishna consciousness depends upon the attitude of the follower. And to achieve this highest success in life, one must master his senses. Then only he can become a pure devotee, and one must follow the instructions of this Updeshamrit. So see, in even the Bhagavatam also, what is Krishna saying? That I can be conquered only by love of those who have conquered their senses. I can be conquered by love. In the 10th canto, Krishna says that I can be conquered only by the love of those who have conquered their senses. So those who have not conquered their senses are looking in for sense gratification. Their senses are looking in to satisfy themselves only. But those who have conquered their senses, they want to satisfy the senses of the Supreme Lord. And that is why to control these senses is a bit difficult. But if somebody is under the guidance of the six Goswamis, then it is very easy for him to actually control these senses. And but somebody might just say that, oh, love is behind law, then why control the senses and the mind, right? And why these four principles also? But see, these four principles that are there, the four regulative principles that are there, these four principles are for those people who are just neophytes. Those who are on a higher level, these principles are automatically followed by them. They don't even look at that side. Say, for example, intoxication. One of the principle is that we should not, take any intoxication, right? So that no intoxication is for a neophyte devotee like me, right? It's not for the Goswamis. Because once a person reaches that particular level of controlling the mind and the senses, his senses don't trouble him. Right now, because I am in the mode of passion and ignorance, my senses are troubling me. And that is why these four regulative principles are meant for me. Right? So that is why it's very important to understand that how, within ISKCON also, there you will find many devotees. Somebody is on passion, somebody is on ignorance, somebody is still in ignorance, somebody is on completely, sattva level, somebody is on Shuddha sattva level, somebody is even above that Mahabhav level and all. But we can say that ISKCON is a preaching movement. And ISKCON is filled with neophyte devotees. And on a daily basis, don't we go out and preach and catch new people? And of course, not on a daily basis, but at least, people around the world on a daily basis, they are, moving on streets and preaching to people. So on a daily basis, we are inviting neophytes into our movement. And on the very first set, we need to help them to get out of the modes of passion and ignorance. So in one of the purports also, Prabhupada has actually said that we should distribute nectar of instruction like the Bhagavad Gita. So the devotees were saying that, but this is for the devotees. Srila Prabhupada says that no, it is must, because it is teaching how to control the mind and the senses. See, most of the, these rape cases or these suicidal cases or, being a farcist or being, torturing people and all, this is coming from this only, that people having uncontrolled mind and senses. And that is why this book needs to be actually, distributed far and wide. Because people should know that what is the importance of controlling my mind and senses. And why am I not happy in my life? Why am I so sad? Why, are my senses troubling me? Why is my mind not in my own control? Everybody wants their mind to be in their own control. But how to make the mind your best friend, then that this book will teach. So see, this book is actually having, you can say that this book has 11 text shlokas. Okay. This book is taking us from Shraddha to Prema. If you see, even Ishopanishad also book, the first book that we saw. So this book is divided as like that text number, from text number 1 to text number 7, it is Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti. So text number 1, 2 and 3 is actually helping us to develop our Shraddha. Then 4, 5 and 6, it is giving us Sadhu Sangha. It is telling us all about Sadhu Sangha. Kiske saath sang karna hai, kiske saath nahi karna hai. Then text number 7 is telling us about that how we should do our bhajan. हमारा भजन क्रिया कैसा होना चाहिए. So if bhajan kriya is good, then we'll have anartha nivritti, then we'll reach to nishtha, and then we'll reach to ruchi. And text number 8 speaks about raganuga bhakti, about asakti. And text 9, 10 and 11, they speak about bhava and prema bhakti. So this whole book that is there, which is going from Shraddha to Prema, very beautiful. And so text number 1 speaks about how to control the mind and senses. Then it speaks about attitude. Then it speaks about what is the purpose of ISKCON, right? Guru-disciple relationship, sadhu sangha, and what are the different kinds of devotees? What should be my behavior with those different kinds of devotees? What are the qualifications of those different kinds of devotees? And the stages of bhakti, and how gradually we will develop from Shraddha to Prema. So this whole book actually, constitutes about this whole thing. Okay, let's dive into the first shloka now. After setting this mode. Okay. If you all wish, you all can repeat after me. Vacho vegam manasa.
Vacho vegam.
Krodha vegam jibha vegam. Udarapasto vegam. Etan vegan yo vishahet dhiraha.
Etan vegan yo vishahet dhiraha.
Sarvam api mam prithvim sa shishyat.
Sarvam abhiman prithvim sa vishishyat.
So for your exams, you have the first 4 shlokas for recitation, and this. So maybe I thought that we can just. So what does Srila Prabhupada say in the translation? A sober person who can tolerate the urge to speak, the mind's demands, the actions of anger, and the urges of the tongue, belly, and genital is qualified to make disciples all over the world. So see, text 1 is telling us about controlling the senses, engaging these senses in the service of the master of the senses. Krishna is called Rishikesha also. And that is why he's saying that one who controls his senses, then he is called a dhira vyakti, a dhira person. So let's see the first. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, Parikshit Maharaj placed a number of intelligent questions before Shukdev Goswami. One of these questions was, okay, after your please put yourselves on mute. In Srimad Bhagavatam, Parikshit Maharaj placed a number of intelligent questions before Shukdev Goswami. One of these questions was, why do people undergo atonement if they cannot control their senses? For instance, a thief may know perfectly well that he may be arrested for his stealing, and he may actually even see a thief arrested by the police. Yet he continues to steal. Experience is gathered by hearing and seeing. One who is less intelligent gathers experience by seeing. One who is more intelligent gathers experience by hearing. When an intelligent person hears from the law books and shastras or scriptures that stealing is not good and hears that a thief is punished when arrested, he refrains from theft. An intelligent person may first have to be arrested and punished for stealing to learn to stop stealing. However, a rascal, a foolish man, may have the experience of both hearing and seeing and may even be punished, but still he continues to steal. Even if such a person atones and is punished by the government, he will again commit theft as soon as he comes out of the jail. If punishment in jail is considered atonement, what is the benefit of such atonement? Right? So, what is the use of atonement without, you can say sense control? This is what Parikshit Maharaj is asking. And Parikshit Maharaj is inquiring. Drishta Shrutabhyam Yat Papam Jananamapi Atmano Hitam Karoti Bhuya Vishwasaha Parayashchittam Atho Katham Kvachin Nivarantante Abhadrata Kvachit Charati Tat Punaha Parayashchitam Atho Partham Manye Kunjara Sauchavat. He compared atonement of an elephant's bathing. The elephant may take a bath very nicely in the river, but as soon as it comes out onto the bank, it throws dirt all over the body. What then is the value of bathing? Similarly, many practitioners, spiritual practitioners, chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra and at the same time commit many forbidden things, thinking that their chanting will counteract their offenses. Where did I lost it? Okay. One can commit while chanting the holy name of the Lord. This offense is called Namo Balat Yasai Papa Buddhi. Committing sinful activities on the strength of the chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Similarly, Christians go to the church to confess their sins, thinking that confessing their sins before a priest and performing some penance will relieve them from the results of their weekly sins. As soon as Saturday is over and Sunday comes, they again begin their sinful activities, expecting to be forgiven the next Saturday. This kind of prashchitta or atonement is condemned by Parikshit Maharaj, the most intelligent king of his time. Srila Shukdev Goswami, equally intelligent as befitting the spiritual master of Parikshit Maharaj, asked the king and confirmed that this statement concerning atonement was correct. A sinful activity cannot be counteracted by a pious activity. Plus and minus नहीं हो सकता है ना, right? So, thus real prayaschitta, atonement, is the awakening of our dormant Krishna consciousness. Mark this. See, whatever I have done before I came to Krishna consciousness, now I am repenting. I must be so papi. I must have killed so many cows maybe in my last birth. I must have hurt so many, small ants and cockroaches and creatures. I must have, physically also harmed so many people in my past birth. So now I have come to Krishna consciousness. Now I should not do that thing again. I should not repeat it again. Now this is, this is the repentance that you have, प्रायश्चित्त जिसको कहते हैं, that I will not do it again, and I will connect to the Supreme Lord, who is my spirit, who is my I'm sorry, who is who has, of whom I am a part and parcel of. I need to connect to him. So if you see, when he's saying this, okay, vacho vega manasa. Vague is like this urge, when you say urgent, urge, abhi karna hai. So there is a difference, okay? There's a difference between urge and desire. Desire will wait. Desires can wait. No, okay, I have a desire, to become the Prime Minister of India. Example. Okay. So this desire can wait till the right time comes, right? But urge is something, very instantly somebody wants. So that is why now the real prayashchitta, what he's saying over here is, real atonement involves coming to real knowledge. And for this, there is a standard process. Real atonement is involving coming to real knowledge. But to come to this real knowledge, there is a process. When one follows a regulated hygienic process, he does not fall sick, right? Somebody, if you see in the previous times, okay, all our ancestors, they used to sleep at one particular time and wake up at one particular time, right? Even their, lunch time or dinner time was also exactly the same. Between maybe, 11 to 1, they'll have their lunch. And between evening 5 to 6, they will have their dinner. And after that, nothing, right? And they lived for 95 years and 96 years, hale, healthy. So, when you follow a regulated hygienic process, then we will not fall sick. See, falling sick over here means only falling prey to our mind and senses. Because the mind and senses will take you haywire. They will pollute our minds. They'll take you haywire. Then when we start doing sense gratification, then it will pollute our mind and will fall sick, right? Sick in the sense that sick in our consciousness. Sick that I am connected to Krishna and you forget. Because if you see, when somebody has temperature, he really is completely out of his senses. Also, he also does not know what is happening with him. So he's not connected at all, right? And when you're hale and healthy, you'll be connected. So, over here, he's saying that when you follow a hygienic process, then we'll not fall sick. A human being is meant to train according to certain principles to revive his original knowledge. Such methodical life is described as tapasya. One can be gradually elevated to the standard of real knowledge or Krishna consciousness by practicing austerity and celibacy, by controlling the mind, by controlling the senses, by giving up one's possessions in charity, by being avowedly truthful, by keeping clean, and by practicing yogasanas. So, he can be slowly, see, what is the connection? First, he is selling real atonement involves knowledge, real knowledge. Okay. So, and for that there is a process. So then what is that process? He can be gradually elevated to the standard of real knowledge or Krishna consciousness by practicing austerity and celibacy. So if I want to reach to real knowledge, I should practice austerity and celibacy, controlling the mind, controlling the senses, and by giving up one's possessions in charity, by being avowedly truthful, by keeping clean and practicing yoga. These are all, it's a package as such, that somebody might really wonder that by giving my own possessions in charity, what is that connection between giving up these possessions in charity and real knowledge have to do with that? What is the connection? So see, when we come in this material world, no, we have a lot of attachments, and this attachment is the root cause to material entanglement. Okay, so when we start giving, maybe 10 rupees, 20 rupees, 2,000, 2 lakhs, 2 crores, slowly, when we start giving up, we will be detached. We know that who is the proprietor of our possessions. The original proprietor is Krishna. I am just a caretaker. Or this facility has been given to me just so that I can use this facility and return back to Krishna. So for example, somebody has a possession of a house. Krishna has given him a house. Okay, nice, comfortable house has been given by Krishna to this person. Okay, so then he's giving up his possessions. Giving up means what? He's calling devotees for satsang program. He's giving that whole house for propagating Krishna consciousness. In case he dies and he puts his whole will in name of ISKCON, right? So because it was Krishna's property and you gave it back to Krishna as such, right? So when a person learns to give, then he will not be attached, and then he will not be entangled also. What asakt, because see, when people start liberally giving now, then there will be no attachment. Why some people on the deathbed also they don't leave their body after 2 to 3, 3, 4 years also, or 2 to 3, 3, 4 months also? Because they are strongly attached to their body. Strongly attached to their body. They don't want to only give up. Then, somebody has to go and give a little grass to the cow, and that's how, that Jiva gets relief from that troubling body as such. So that is why giving in charity, little by little, slowly by slowly. See, when you start giving external things in charity, then you'll start giving internal things also in charity, right? When you start giving money, possessions, material things, then you'll start giving your mind and senses also. That these mind and senses don't belong to me, Krishna. Krishna, they belong to you, and I should be engaging them to please you. It's all about your pleasure, Krishna. It's not about my pleasure at all. And then you engage these senses in Krishna's service for his pleasure. Of course, by being truthful also, you cannot cheat. And by being clean inside and outside and practicing yoga asana. However, if one is fortunate enough to get the association of a pure devotee, he can easily surpass all the practices of controlling the mind by the mystic yoga process simply by following the regulative principles of Krishna consciousness. These 4 things: no meat eating, no gambling, and by engaging in the practical service of the Supreme Lord under the direction of a bona fide spiritual master. This easy process is being recommended by Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī. You just follow the spiritual master. You just become the yes man of the spiritual master. Spiritual master says, do this, yes. Spiritual master says, do this, do that, yes. So by, by taking guidance from the spiritual master and trying to serve, then all these things will become very easy. Then the paragraphs which started real atonement involves we come to real knowledge. We come to the real knowledge that, I'm a part and parcel of Krishna, and the part is supposed to serve the whole, and I'm supposed to serve Krishna. Then, over here, now you see, para by para, actually he's going with one, Vegas, actually. So, vacho vegam. Vacho means, your tongue. First, one must control his speaking power. Every one of us has the power of speech. As soon as we get an opportunity, we began to speak, right? So, when he's saying that this speech is there, okay, because a speech will be there, and because of that particular speech, we might hurt also different people, right? And he's saying that if we don't speak about Krishna consciousness, then we will speak about all nonsense. See, if we don't speak about Krishna consciousness, we'll speak about all different nonsense things only. And then the analogy of this toad is given, who is inviting actually who's inviting death in the form of his croaking. And this toad is saying, please come and eat me. And he's inviting death. So, the analogy of this toad is why it is given is because this toad in the field is inviting the snake. And these materialistic men also, what they are doing is, materialistic men, impersonalists, Mayavadis also, they are also like croaking frogs, right? They also speak nonsense and thus they are inviting death to catch them. Now, somebody might wonder that how these Mayavadis and, these materialistic men are actually inviting frogs or croaking frogs, and they're inviting death. If you don't speak about Krishna, and if you speak all that nonsense that is there, then actually you're gliding yourself more down. The one who is glorifying Krishna is uplifting himself. The one who is under the guidance of the spiritual master and walks according to the guidance of the spiritual master, then he is elevating himself. All people, all the materialistics and impersonalists, they're actually gliding themselves down. So controlling the speech, however, does not mean self-imposed silence, mauna, as the Mayavadi philosophers think. I remember I have one cousin brother, he still is like, Moni Baba type. So on a particular day, he's in US right now. So what he does is, on a particular day in a week, the whole day he won't talk only. And he will talk everything in sign language. And that becomes really very frustrating on a, Moni Baba type, and if you're there as such. But then, when you don't speak something positive and you refrain, because if the tongue is given for a particular function and you don't use it for that particular function, then it has no value, right? See, that is called why Prabhupada over here is saying that in the very first that speaking power, that is called something called as the power of speech. And again, this power of speech comes by controlling the senses only. Power of speech comes by controlling the senses because if you don't glorify Krishna, you're going to glorify Maya, right? And this tongue, either you use it in, glorifying Krishna's name, form, pastimes and all, or then, you use it in Maya's service. And if you use it in Maya's service, Jhapatiya Maya Dhare. Okay. So, that is why there is something called the Vaka Siddhi also. Vaka Siddhi means what? That if some person has been a celibate for around 12 years, this even Śrīla Bhakti Siddhanta Ṭhākura is also given this. Okay. That is somebody is attending Mangala Arati on a daily basis and following the 4 regulative principles, chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra and everything. He remains a celibate brahmachari, okay, for those 12 years. Then after 12 years, whatever he speaks will come out to be true. Whatever he will speak will come out to be. Because this is called one type of siddhi. 12 years की एक ये सिद्धि है कि 12 साल, you wake up early in the morning, you follow the 4 regulative principles, chant, read, preach, be a celibate person, have your mind senses controlled as such, then whatever you speak will come out to be true. That's called Vaka Siddhi. And see, most of our pure devotees, they have, such Vaka Siddhis, right? That whatever they say, everything gets, or even that is why wives, please bless me, please bless me, please bless me. Why do we say that? Because we know that this particular person has the power to bless me to serve Krishna. And that is why please bless me so that I can serve Krishna more better. So, this, uncontrolled speech hai. But is uncontrolled speech का solution फिर क्या है? Uncontrolled speech का solution यही है that you glorify Krishna's names, quality, form and pastimes. And because you will all the time glorify the name, form, quality and pastimes of the Lord, then what will happen? Then this controlling the urge of speech, we will be beyond the clutches of death. Death will not touch us. Of course, we will move from one body to another, from a material body to the spiritual body, but it's not going to affect us or trouble us. So, speech has the power. There are so many things. We know that we women speak, I think, almost 20,000 words in a day. And men speak only 5,000 words in a day. So if you see, the average is so high. And let's see the next para. The relentless of fickleness of the mind is controlled when one can fix his mind on the lotus feet of Krishna. See, ye jo vacho vegam, vacho means the vega or the urge of speech, okay, and then manovega, man ka bhi apna ek veg hai, man ki bhi apni ek urge hai, right? Or you can say relentless or the fickle mind. It can fix itself on the lotus feet of Krishna. So then Prabhupada is giving, how can one fix his mind on the lotus feet of Krishna? Krishna Surya Sama Maya hi andakara, Yahan Krishna Tan Nahi Maya hi adhikara. So one is always thinking of Krishna and how to serve Krishna, and one's mind will naturally be controlled. Krishna is like the sun and Maya is like the darkness. If the sun is present, there is no question of darkness. If Krishna is present in the mind, there is no possibility of the mind being agitated by Maya's influence. हर वक्त कृष्ण को अपने मन में लेके घूमना है. If you all remember that story of two sages, and they wanted to cross the river. Okay. And I think there was a pregnant lady also. She also wanted to cross, but she was not able to cross. So one of the sages said, okay, I will pick you up on my shoulder and, will help you to cross, right? And the first sage, he actually, made her sit on the shoulder, and then he helped her to cross that river. But the other sage who was there was thinking, how can he make her sit on the shoulder? How he can do this and that and all. So this was eating his mind. And he was telling actually, the sage number one, saying it, hey, you did this and you picked her up. Now, you are completely doomed. You are in Maya now, and you are in this and then everything. He's trying to scare him and all. So the first sage said that, see, I picked up that lady from one bank and I dropped her at the other bank. And I'm done. And I don't have her in my mind. But you still have her in your mind. So, like that, we should carry Krishna in our mind and not anything, faltu in our mind. So, carrying Krishna in our mind means what? Carrying Krishna in our mind means only that every time thinking that how will I please Krishna? What will I do today to please Krishna? What are those activities that I will do to please Krishna? So we chalk out a plan you can chalk out a plan. At night, you make a list. Okay, tomorrow morning I'll wake up at so and so time. I will chant my rounds. I will sing a couple of bhajans. I will offer flowers. I will prepare bhoga. I will read Bhagavatam. I will preach Bhagavatam. I will distribute Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita or any books as such. Now, this means only to keep Krishna continuously 24/7 in our minds. In this way, and keeping Krishna in our mind is also one more thing is that thinking of Krishna favorably, not unfavorably. Like Kamsa ne unfavorable way se socha. And keeping Krishna in our mind means all the time thinking about him only, about his benefit. They say a mother now all the time she thinks now about Krishna, that now what my child will be doing. Now my child must be eating. My child must be doing this. He must be in school now. He must be doing this. This is the way, she keeps the child in the mind. So the yogic process of negating all material thoughts will not help. To try to create a vacuum in the mind is artificial. Sab thoughts khali kar do. Bas man ko khali kar do. Not that way. See, where there is ego, garbage in, garbage out. So right now there is garbage in. तो garbage को बाहर निकालना है. So garbage को बाहर निकालेंगे तो फिर जो है you put in something good things, right? And however, if one always thinks of Krishna and how to serve Krishna best, one's mind naturally will be controlled. He won't have things for faltu things, right? So there are two ways, okay, that you think about Krishna favorably, you think about Krishna unfavorably. Gopis were all the time thinking about Krishna very favorably. Gopis were not even envious of Radharani, because nature of envy is, desiring harm to the others. But Gopis did not desire any harm to Radharani. So that is why, you can say that they did not harm. They were always, in sync with her mood, right? That is how we also should be in sync with the mood of Srila Prabhupada. syncing with the mood of our spiritual masters. Right? Okay, let's go to this next paragraph. Similarly, anger can be controlled. We cannot stop anger altogether. But if we simply become angry with those who blaspheme the Lord or the devotees of the Lord, we control our anger in Krishna consciousness, right? So, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became very angry with the miscreants Jagai and Madai and who were blaspheming Nityanand Mahaprabhu. And see, in Shishtastakam, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying Trinadapi Suni Chena, Taroripi Saishuna. One should be. Then somebody might ask that how did he exhibit anger? So, Prabhupada is making a point over here that the point is that one should be ready to tolerate all insults to one's own self. But when Krishna or his pure devotee is blasphemed, a genuine devotee becomes angry and acts like fire against offenders. Like Hanuman also got angry, right? We cannot stop anger. And Hanuman completely burned the whole Lanka. And that is why we should be, very much tolerant for our own selves. See, this krodha, ये क्रोध क्यों आता है पता है? We have seen in Bhagavad Gita, if you remember, right? Kamesha, Krodesha, Rajoguna, Samudbhava. Right? So when you have Kama, and this Kama is born of what? This Kama is born of passion. Kam means lust. Lust is born of passion. And we have seen the three gates to hell also. Kamesha, Krodesha, Rajoguna, Samudbhava. Rajoguna se utpanna ho raha hai. Now, if I want this Kam and Krodh to go away, right? These three, what do you say? Three gates to hell. And even out of these three, actually the first entrance जहाँ से जाता है वो काम ही है. So I need to come out from the mode of passion and ignorance. Then, I will be able to help myself. And this, because काम है तो क्रोध है ना? And काम ही नहीं होगा तो ये काम, see, there is spiritual lust and there is material lust, okay? Spiritual lust is to always satisfy Krishna and material lust is to always satisfy your own senses. Now we have to just flip our desire. Flipping the desire from pleasing Krishna. Our lust means our aspiration should be to, please Krishna. Now, when you start pleasing Krishna, then we won't have only krodha. Not much of krodha we'll have. Okay, if somebody is blasphemed, some devotee, we might definitely take his side and say, hey, how can you do this as such, right? But to understand this is that the moment we start trying to come to the level of satoguna, we can actually help ourselves. Liberally, we can help ourselves. Okay. So that is why काम ऐशा क्रोध ऐशा रजोगुण समुद्भव. तो जितना जितना हम भगवान की सेवा करते जाएंगे उतना उतना हमारी ये जो तीन गुण है, we will be able to transcend these three gunas and reach to the Shuddha Sattva level as such. Okay, next. It was in anger that Hanuman set fire to Lanka, but he worshipped. His worship is a great devotee of the Lord Ramchandra. This means he utilized anger in the right way. Arjuna serves as an example. He was not willing to fight, but Krishna incited his anger. उत्तेजित किया उसके anger को. Instigated. You must fight. To fight without anger is not possible. So, here is the crux. Anger is controlled, however, when utilized in the service of the Lord. So when you utilize anger, see, the only anartha which everyone agrees is wrong, even in the materialist, right? Anger nahi hona chahiye anger. So in all devotional literature, there are very few examples of using anger in Krishna's service. So better focus on controlling it, right? So there is a very thin line between us using anger for Krishna's service or anger using us in Maya's service. And even Hanumanji was, later on, actually, Hanuman also repented whatever anger he had exhibited. Right? So, mostly our motivations in getting angry is not even pure. And even if our intentions may be pure, the other person may not be able to take the anger as such. And sometimes we have to speak very even assertively also so that people take us very seriously, right? So, see, sometimes, some people say that, Mataji, if we don't show anger, no, then they will sit on our heads, If we don't do like this, no, they will sit on our heads. Especially in management, Mataji, we have to do this, Otherwise, they will take us very lightly and they will, take us for granted as such. So Narad Muni had told this there was one of his disciples. This disciple was one of the snakes. So Narad Muni had just advised this snake that why are you biting? You don't bite, right? People, you have poison, but you utilize it in something better. So now this snake become little harmless. So all these, people started beating that snake, all the small children and men and all. So then the snake starts, he comes to Narad Muni crying, that see, you told me to be non-violent and, these people are doing. So Narad Muni said, see, I told you not to bite, but I did not say that don't show your fangs. तो बोलते हैं ना कि आपका फैंग तो बना डराने के लिए थोड़ा तो फैंग बनाना ही चलेगा. So when we are firm, we are in control. But when we are in anger, then anger is in our control. जब हम firm होते हैं, we are in control. But when we are angry, then anger is in control. Anger will control us. I will post one very nice post, which very long back, maybe I think 15, 16 years back, this post was there. That anger is like a coal, hot coal, so before it burns that other person, because you're throwing the coal at other person, before it burns that other person, it will burn you only. So for we sadhakas, experiencing spiritual anger is a bit difficult, but it will be only actually material anger more of a thing. So of course we don't come also, at least I don't come across many atheists or something. But if we come across these atheists, then we have to be very careful. We have to be very that we should not get angry. We should keep it cool and all. So sometimes some question might be asked that, Mataji, what if devotees criticize another devotee? If a devotee is blaspheming, it should be treated the same way. But mostly devotees don't hate each other so badly, So harsh words will not hurt the same way. So while preaching also, while we are preaching or while we are doing some management, we might, criticize also, which is inevitable. But one should not allow that envy to enter. If envy gets entered, so then anger will come out, right? Okay. For the urges of the tongue, we all experience that the tongue wants to eat palatable dishes. Generally, we should not allow the tongue to eat according to its choice, but control the tongue by supplying prasad. The devotee's attitude is that he will eat only when Krishna gives him prasadam. Very important. See, why only prasadam? There is a reason, there is a scientific reason that why only prasadam? Why only Krishna prasadam? Because when there are many reasons actually, but when you say that a particular food, how it is sown, how it is reaped, how it is threshed, how it is cooked, how it is served, this all involves. Just give me 1 minute. There is a very important call from the kitchen. Anyways, I'll just pick it up later on. Because he's busy now. The phone went busy. Okay. So, till the time it is brought onto our own plate, we do not know what all sins have been added. See, when you are actually sowing a seed, also so many, small insects get killed, right? And the seed is sown. In that water, also so many, insects have been killed. Then when you are cutting, when you are threshing, when you are winnowing it, so many, insects get. So much of sin now. Then from that particular farm to the wholesaler, what all transactions, false transactions have taken place. Then from that person to the retailer, and from the retailer to us. And then what we have also earned, because different people give us different money for whatever services we are doing, we are working, right? So our bosses also must have earned with what not, black money or white money, whatever it is. Now, when that plate comes to me and it is not offered, that whole plate is a big sinful plate. But that same plate, if I offer it to Krishna with love and devotion, patram pushpam palam toyam, right? So then what will Krishna do is, whatever sins are there, he will actually, extract those sins from that. He will put his love in that. He'll put his love and devotion in that. And then he will actually give me that. Now, when we say prasada means Krishna's mercy. There is a very loving exchange between you and Krishna while you're eating prasadam. Okay, when you're cooking, and especially when I'm cooking, I can tell you with my experience that there's a loving exchange between, the devotee and Krishna. Now, if I'm not eating that, I'm eating sin only. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, those who do not, offer me are verily eating only sins. Right? So now you're accumulating sins, and after accumulating those sins, then where is the question of coming to the mode of goodness? Where is the question of transcending? Where is the question of controlling the tongue, belly, genitals, anger, speech? Difficult. Very difficult. And when Krishna is actually putting his love also now, he is putting those good qualities also. His own good qualities, his own good consciousness also in that. So what are we doing? Being his children, we're imbibing his good consciousness also through that prasadam. His good qualities also we are trying to imbibe. That I'm eating the uchista of my eternal father, Krishna, Parampita, Bija Prajapita. So, whatever good qualities the father has, the child also will have. What are nice qualities the child will have, the father will have, the child will also have. And that is how this prasad is divine. We call it divine prasadam. So that is how we can control the tongue. See, when there is a reciprocation, see, this is a science also again, okay? When there is a reciprocation also, right? That, the plate passes from the spiritual master to Prabhupada, to the acharyas and to, the Goswamis and to Radharani. Then she does a quality check and then, she feeds Krishna with her own hands. And then Krishna becomes very satisfied and that plate comes back again to us, right? It's a science. And when we are actually honoring prasadam, we honor prasadam. We don't just say, we say, I'm honoring prasadam. You honor prasadam, then at that point of time, the magic starts from inside. Annat bhavanti, because through anna only हमारी चेतना develop होती है. Through anna only हमारी चेतना जो है वो consciousness जो है हमारा purify हो रहा है. So when this prasadam enters, then our consciousness changes. Till the time this anna will not enter. And see, Krishna has different ways of expressing his love. One of the ways of expressing his love is through prasadam, through his holy name, through his books. So one of the ways is prasadam. You are accepting Krishna's love. So the love that Krishna has in his heart, you will also have that same love. That love is already present, but it was covered, it will be uncovered now. You will have the same capacity of love that Krishna has. And this is why we have to be very staunch about taking only prasadam. One should take prasadam at scheduled times and not eat in restaurants, sweet shops, simply to satisfy the whims of the tongue or belly. If we stick to the principle of taking only prasadam, the urges of the belly and the tongue can be controlled. In a similar manner, the urges of the genitals and the sex impulse can be controlled when not using unnecessarily. The genitals should be used to beget Krishna conscious children, otherwise they should not be used. The Krishna conscious movement encourages marriage is not for the satisfaction of the genitals, but for begetting Krishna conscious children. As soon as the children are a little grown up, they are sent to a Gurukul school where they are trained to become fully Krishna conscious devotees. Many such Krishna conscious children are required, and one who is capable of bringing forth Krishna conscious offspring is allowed to utilize his genitals. When one is fully practicing the methods of Krishna conscious control, he can become qualified to become a bona fide spiritual master. So see, this, when he's saying that this sex impulse that is there, and when he's saying that about this sex impulse, right? Because if you see that when somebody is too much attached to that particular act or to that particular person also. So what happens is when a person does not use this particular genital properly, then all his other senses are also uncontrolled. So the first sense that you control is your speech. If speech is controlled, automatically all the other senses are in one line only. But especially with genitals is that Prabhupada says it's like a scratch. The more you scratch, the more you feel that urge. That is why he's saying urge of the genitals, right? And this is only the way. If you don't utilize them in Krishna consciousness, then these genitals only become a doorway to hell for us. If a particular person utilizes only for his own sense gratification, then somebody will have AIDS and somebody will have some big, diseases as such. But if you utilize in Krishna consciousness, then you're doing some good to the society also. You're doing some good to that particular living entity also who is coming into your own house as a child. And you're pushing the movement, you're helping to push the movement as such. Right? Now, what Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Ṭhākura says that, see, most of Prabhupada's many purports, na, Prabhupada takes from Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur's, books, Anuvritti. He writes that a material affect identification creates three kinds of urges: urge to speak, demands of the mind, and demands of the body. When a living entity falls victim to these three types of urges, his life becomes inauspicious. अशुभ ही अशुभ होता है. अगर कोई जो है, see, if you speak something very harsh to somebody, or you speak something very ill about somebody, immediately, you get a reaction. Immediately. Okay. Or if you think about somebody very bad in his mind and that comes into action and then you speak out, then once what you have spoken, you cannot put it back, right? It's exactly that whatever, if you have vomited, you cannot lick your own vomit as such, right? So these three things, these are inauspicious things in our life, and we need to delete them. One who practices resisting these demands or urges is called a tapasvi. For one who practices austerities, by such tapasya, one can become victimization of the material energy, the external potency of the Supreme Lord. We can refer to the urge to speak. We refer to useless talking, such as that of impersonal Mayavadi philosophers and karma kandis. As such, talks or literatures are practical exhibitions to the urge of speech. See, nowadays also, if you see on all these social media channels, if people are not physically able to speak, they write and speak, right? And so much of nonsense they keep on speaking about this person, about that person. He did that and she did that, and Bollywood did that, and Hollywood did that, and this minister did that, and that minister did that, and this industry did that, that industry did that. In every field, if you see, people are, speaking nonsense about each other and not utilizing that, that facility that has been given, or the power of urge that they are not utilizing to its fullest capacity. And even in the Bhagavatam, it is said that na yad vachaschitra padam harer yaso jagat pavitram pragrinita karhichita tad vayasam tirtham ushnati manasa na yatra hamsa nirmanti ushikshayah. Those words which do not describe the glories of the Lord, who alone can sanctify the atmosphere of the whole universe, are considered by saintly persons to be like unto a place of pilgrimage for crows. Since the all perfect persons are inhabitants of the transcendental abode, they do not derive any pleasure there. People would not like to go in a place where crows are there, People would always like to go in a place where there are many swans, right? Nat tadvag visargo janata viplavo yasmin prati shlokam abadhivanti namnani anantasya yaso ankitani yat shinvanti gayanti grananti sadhavah. On the other hand, that literature which is full of descriptions of the transcendental glories of the name, fame, form, pastimes, etc. of the unlimited Supreme Lord is a different creation full of transcendental words directed towards bringing about a revolution in the impious lives of this world's misdirected civilization. Tadvag visargo. Viplava. Viplava means only, bringing a revolution. Right? And what is he saying that, right? Such transcendental literatures, even though imperfectly composed, are heard, sung, and accepted by purified men who are thoroughly honest. There might be, some here and there, grammatical, some small mistakes or something, or maybe some composition might be not very perfect, right? But those who are pure, they will hunt only for pure. Like Prabhupada gives an example, no? That a honey bee will keep on only taking nectar from every flower. So a pure devotee will only be in that place of swans where the glorification of the Lord's name, form, pastimes are going on. You will not find pure devotees in a beer bar. You will not find pure devotees in a theater. You will not find pure devotees in some debates. You will always find them in Vrindavan. You will always find them in Tirtha places, in the holy places, right? The conclusion is that only when we talk about devotional service to the Supreme Lord can we refrain from useless nonsensical talks. We should always endeavor to use our speaking power solely for the purpose of realizing Krishna consciousness. As for the agitation and prickling mind, they're divided into two divisions: avirodhapatti or unrestricted attachment, and the other is virodha yukta krodha, anger arising from frustration. Adherence to the philosophy of the Mayavadis, belief in fruitive activity results of the Karmavadis, and belief in plans based on materialistic desires is called avirodha priti. Jnanis, karmis, and materialistic plan makers generally attract the attention of conditioned soul, but when the materialistic cannot fulfill their plans and when their devices are frustrated, they become angry. Frustration of material desires produces anger. See, that is why I said, na, kamesha krodesha. Something is not fulfilled, you become angry. Any of your desires are not fulfilled, then you become angry. Similarly, the demands of the body can be divided into three categories: the tongue, the belly, the genital. One may observe that these three senses are physically situated in a straight line as far as the body is concerned, and that the bodily demands begin with the tongue. If one can restrain the demands of the tongue by limiting its activities to the eating of prasada, the urges of the belly and the genitals can automatically be controlled. In this connection, Bhakti Vinod Thakur says, Sarira Vidya Jai Jade Indriya Tahe Kal. We know this, right? So, there are 6 kind of rasas. If one is agitated by one of them, he becomes controlled by the urges of the tongue. Some persons are attracted to eating fish, meat, eggs, and crabs, and other things produced by semen and blood and eaten in the form of dead bodies. Others are attracted to eating vegetables, creepers, spinach, and milk products, but all for the satisfaction of the tongue's demand. Such eating for sense gratification, including the use of extra qualities like quantity like spices and chilies and tamarinds, is to be given up by the Krishna conscious person. See, what is the problem with these chili and tamarind? They are in actually passion. The use of pan, haritaki, betel nuts, various spices used in pan making, tobacco, LSD, marijuana, opium, liquor, and all is into fulfill illicit demands. If we practice accepting only remnants of food offered to Krishna, it is possible to get free from Maya's victimization. Vegetables, grains, fruits, milk products, and water are proper foods to offer to the Lord, as Krishna describes himself. However, if one accepts prasada only because of its palatable taste and thus eats too much, he also falls prey to trying to satisfy the demands of the tongue. See, in the Bhagavad Gita, in the 6th chapter, we had seen, okay, that how we should eat also. So, eating is like, 25 percentage, you fill your, 50 percentage you fill your stomach with food, 25 with water, and 25 you keep it empty. So that, that food can be digested. Like if, for example, if you have a mixie, a mixer grinder, right? So in the mixer grinder, we don't actually, completely fill it to the brim. Otherwise, how will it move? So what we do, we fill half of the mixer grinder, then we add a little water, and then we shut it and then we switch on, right? So same way, even with our stomach is the same. So if we eat too much, then, digestion, and then, it's just like, satisfying the tongue as such. Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu taught us to avoid very palatable dishes, bhalu na ha-ibe, bhalu na benve, and even while eating prasad. If we offer palatable dishes to the deity with the intention of eating such nice food, we are involved in trying to satisfy the demands of the tongue. If we accept the invitation of a rich man with the idea of receiving palatable food, we're trying to satisfy the demands of the tongue. So see, Prabhupada is telling us that, we should not go to a particular person's place, just that, oh, I'll get good food to eat. No, again, it is satisfying. Whatever is given on the plate, you just accept and you eat it, and you be happy with that. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Jivara lalasayai iti uti dhaya sisno dhara prayana Krishna nahi paya. That person who runs here and there seeking to gratify his palate and who is always attached to the desires of his stomach and genitals is unable to attain Krishna. As stated before, the tongue, belly, and genitals are all situated in a straight line and they fall in the same category. Bhalana ha-ibe, arana bhalana peribe. Do not dress luxuriously and do not eat delicious food stuff. Those who suffer from disease of the stomach must be unable to control the urges of the belly, at least according to his analysis. When we desire to eat more than necessary, we automatically create many inconveniences in life. However, if we observe fasting day like Ekadashi and Janmashtami, we can restrain the demands of the belly. Now, Prabhupada is giving all these solutions, okay, what we can do. As far as the urges of genitals are concerned, there are two proper and improper or legal and illicit sex. When a man is properly mature, he can marry according to rules and regulations of Shastras and use his genitals for begetting nice children. That is legal and religious. And otherwise, he may adopt many artificial means to satisfy the demands of genitals and he may not use any restraint. When one indulges in sex life as defined with the Shastra, either by thinking, planning, talking about, or actually having sexual intercourse, or by satisfying the genitals by artificial means, he is caught in the clutches of Maya. Attachment, so you will remain entangled only then. These instructions apply not only to households but to the Tyagis also, who are in the renounced order of life. In his book Prema Vivarta, Jagannathan Pandit says, Vairagi bhai gramya katha na shunibe gane, gramya varta na khaibe yebe milibe ane. स्वप्ने ओ ना कर भाई स्त्री संभाषण गृह स्त्री छाड़िया भाई आसियाची वन यदि चाहा प्राण राखी ते गौरांगेर सने छोटा हरिदासेर कथा ताके ये न मने है भालना खाइबे और भालना पेरिबे हृदय ते राधा कृष्ण सर्वदा सेविबे. My dear brothers, you are in the renounced order of life and should not listen to talk about ordinary worldly things, nor should talk about worldly things when you meet others. Do not think of women even in dreams. You have accepted the renounced order of life with a vow that forbids you to associate with women. If you wish to associate with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, you must always remember the incident of Chotaridas, how he was rejected by the Lord. Do not eat luxurious dishes, fine dresses, but remain humble and serve their lordships, Śrī Radha Krishna, in your hearts. The conclusion is that one who cannot control these 6 items is to be called a Swami. One who can control these 6 items, speech, mind, anger, tongue, belly, and genitals, is called a Swami or a Goswami. Swami means master, Goswami means the master of the go or the senses. When one accepts the renounced order of life, he automatically assumes the title of Swami. This does not mean that he is the master of his family, community, or society. He must be the master of his senses. Unless one is master of his senses, one should not be called a Goswami but a Goda, servant of the senses. Following in the footsteps of 6 Gosvāmīs of Vṛndāvana, all Swamis and Goswamis should fully engage in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. As opposed to this, the Godas engage in the service of the senses or in the service of the material world. They have no engagement. Prahlad Maharaj is further described the Godas as a Ananta Go, which refers to one whose senses are not controlled. An Ananta Go, one cannot become the servant of Krishna. Materna Krishna paratasvato va mitho vipatyate grihavartanam Ananta Gobhir Vishatam Tamishram Punascharvita Charvanam. For those who have decided to continue their existence in this material world for the gratification of their senses, there is no chance of becoming Krishna consciousness by personal endeavor, by instruction from others, or by joint conferences. They are dragged by the unbridled senses into the darkest region of ignorance, and thus they madly engage in what is called chewing the chew. The unbridled senses is this word over here, okay? Unbridled means what? लगाम नहीं है, छोड़ दिया है, घोड़ों को छोड़ते हैं ना, वैसे सेंसेस को छोड़ दिया है, जो करना है करो. Okay, I'll rest my speech over here. If you'll have any questions, queries, doubts, you can definitely ask me.
Mataji, what is the difference between this book and Bhagavad Gita?
Bhagavad Gita, see, if you see, the instructions are continued only. Like what Krishna has given in the 14th chapter, 3 modes of material nature and all. But it is more of an extended, part. Can say that this is actually teaching us how to live like a devotee. Bhagavad Gita is teaching us that how to become a devotee, but how to live like a devotee, and continuously living like a devotee. It is teaching us that way. And how to behave and deal with different people, how to deal with devotees, how to deal with senses, how to deal with different levels of devotees also. So it is how to also, there are some do's and don'ts also. If you do this, you will get this. If you don't do this, then you won't. There are some do's and don'ts also. Of course, Bhagavad Gita may be diya hua hai, but many of the extended principles are there, which Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī, what was there in Krishna's mind, which he could not speak that time on the battlefield, is actually spoken in this book here.
Okay, Mataji, thank you. Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
Correct. Mataji,
Just
can
1
I
minute.
ask-
Just give me 1 minute, okay? Yeah, tell me.
Mataji, you mentioned that distribute nectar of instruction books as well. And normally people have the tendency to donate Bhagavad Gitas all the time. So is this to be given to neophyte devotees as well, or only people who are in the devotional service as it is from long time? How do we go about distributing this particular
We
book?
can distribute this book to both the category of people, Prabhuji. See, when people will pick up this book, they will associate with Prabhupada, they will associate with Rupa Goswami. When they will read, they'll say, oh, I don't have only control senses. I will go in hell. I will not be able to go only my uncontrolled mind, my uncontrolled senses. So it's like an alarm. And then when they will read that don't do this, don't do that, then they'll properly follow. But the primary thing, the primary ingredient in this book is actually they are associating with two pure devotees. One is Prabhupada and one is Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī. And that's how they will reform. So it can be given to anybody. It can be given to one who does not know also anything about God. It can be given to that person also. And it can be given to that person also who started chanting 2-3 rounds and a little favorable also. Both the categories of people. Okay, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Mataji, in prefix, what was mentioned that the one person if the one person wants to become a perfect devotee, he must become a Goswami. Before becoming, he must become a Goswami, like that. But for that, the person has to change their attitude. So living in the material world, how can we change our attitude, Mataji, like this?
See, when in the preface he said that the
Yes.
what is that sentence? Wait, I just forgot. It's very important. Advancement in Krishna consciousness depends on the attitude of the follower.
Yes.
So what is my attitude towards my own self, firstly? What is my attitude towards every living entity?
Okay.
What do I think? What do I think myself in connection with every living entity? Like some people, they think that, oh, I am I'm great. मेरे जैसा कोई great है ही नहीं. Right, So like that person will not advance. But if somebody is very humble, that I am the servant of the servant of the servant, right? Now, then this person will make advancement. If this person will think that whatever I will do in association of devotees only. I am dependent on the association of devotees. I will go in the association of devotees and do some service. Whatever, I am, I want to surrender to my spiritual master's instructions. This is also one of the attitude that whatever my spiritual master says, I will do that only. So now this attitude of being humble in all phases of his life or in all activities of his life, it will help him to advance. He will understand that I am not in control. He will understand that Krishna is the supreme controller, proprietor, and enjoyer. And I am only meant to serve him. In all instances, if a person understands this thing, then it will help him. This attitude only, this humble attitude will help him to advance. Otherwise, with an arrogant attitude, he won't advance at all. He will have to come down to that, humble attitude to do some seva. At least, for example, if somebody has given some seva in the temple, let's say some devotee has given us some seva that, Mataji, you please clean this hall. So I will say, wow, I've got a seva to, clean this hall. Now let me give my best to clean this hall. I won't argue with that person. Why me only? Why not that person? Okay, how much time? I'm getting late. Can I do hardly half? Can I do only 1/4 and all? No, if a service has been given, you just do it. And do it to the best. Of course, you can take some guidance in a humble way that, how I can clean it, okay? With soap, with water, with mop, with what I can clean it, right? So that way. So the humble humility has to be there. Just 1 minute. Huh?
Thank you, Mataji.
So then that humility part is very important in advancement of Krishna consciousness. So this is, when we say attitude only, na, means only uske under bracket mein aap samajh lena chahiye ki it is humility coming in. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you, dear devotees. Thank you so much. Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrind ki jai. We'll meet Saturday. Hare Krishna, Hare Bol.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat.